Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here with you today. I just flew in this morning, and I'm really so happy to see that Frankfurt is as cold as I thought it would be. Thank you. And but I feel the warmth of the reception here, which certainly fills my heart with great joy. I want to thank the president of the Frankfurt University of Applied Sciences, Dr. Shaki, the co-organizer of this amazing event, Dr. Julia Bernstein, of course, the heads of the Volcker Institute, my now dear friend Deidre, and Volker Beck. Thank you so much. And thank each of you for being here to study and analyze this most important topic in which we need to unite in order to combat and best work against to build a better society for all. There's no question that anti-Semitism in the academic context in the United States of America, which is the topic of my talk, is certainly deeply disconcerting. It's true in respect to faculty. You might have seen that the AAUP, which is the largest association of academics, rescinded its longstanding policy against boycotts this past summer, not mentioning but clearly referencing Israel. It's disconcerting in respect to the student body, where we saw after October 7th harassment of Jewish students in campuses all throughout the United States. And it's also disconcerting in respect to the administration. And for that, I will share with you my personal experiences. As Deidre mentioned, on October 7th, I was in Jerusalem. We heard the sirens go off. One time, two times, we knew Jerusalem was under attack. I immediately was with my son, and somebody came over to us and said, "You should check your phone." And my son checked his phone, and he saw that he was called up to duty. My son left on October 7th, and I had the experience, which I do not wish on anyone as a parent, to send one son off to war, not knowing what will happen to him. My son has served over 200 days as a reservist. He's a reservist right now. He's on the border of Gaza right now. He's spent over 200 days as a reservist defending the Jewish state and defending what I would say humanity and all of us, and for him and all of his friends and colleagues in the IDF, we have an immeasurable amount of gratitude and hakarat tov and debt of service. Although my son was in the army, I could not stay in Israel. My wife stayed, she couldn't leave him. I went back to America to do my service. And immediately we were on the news all throughout the television stations in America, and MSNBC, NBC, and CNBC, and speaking about moral clarity and the importance of recognizing the brutality of what just happened, that there's a clear evil in this case, and that it should be easy for people of good conscience to condemn rape, murder, burning alive families. This isn't a complicated matter. And much to our surprise, presidents of universities were not able, some of them were not able to call out with clarity. And so when I saw that, I knew that that wasn't really the full story, because I knew presidents' universities, and I knew that they were good people. So I started calling my colleagues and peers all throughout the country and created a coalition against terrorism, which I'm going to talk to you about. But let me share with you some of the reactions by the presidents. Some of the presidents told me that, Ari, I have to tell you, anti-Semitism is real. They didn't know that before. It's been hidden under a rock. But after October 7th, it's been given oxygen and legitimized. And that they were honestly afraid. for their Jewish faculty and Jewish students. Some presidents told me, Ari, this is an unprecedented experience in their tenure. Because in the past, when there were social justice matters, the whole university stood on the same side. It was very easy in America for universities to rally in social justice matters because they all agreed with each other. But this is the first time where the campus was pitted against one another because it was against the Jewish students. And what happened for a lot of these presidents, sadly, is that they were paralyzed. And they did not act like leaders, but in fear of their campus and of triggering events. And that's a second group. But there was a third group that actually stood up for what is right, have been able to then and consistently since call out the moral stakes that lie underneath what is happening today. And it's to that group that I wish to discuss with you this afternoon. To share the story, I just want to couch it in a little broader intellectual terms. There's a concept in the Torah called ger toshav. The Jewish people are described in the Hebrew Bible as a visible minority within society. Abraham, although he was years in Canaan at the time before the land was given to the Jewish people, described himself as ger v'toshav anochi machem. Then even after he was there for decades, he said, I am a stranger and a resident, like a resident alien. Even though he was there, he was different. Now, throughout history, the Jewish people have been visible within society, preserving their own culture, traditions, family lives, and societal norms. This separateness throughout history has always made the Jewish people a target for societal scapegoating, blame, and persecution. The quintessential other. There is no one form that anti-Semitism has taken throughout history. As Rabbi Jonathan Sachs once wrote, anti-Semitism is not a unitary phenomenon, a coherent belief or ideology. Jews have been hated because they were rich and because they were poor, because they were capitalists and because they were communists, because they believed in tradition and because they were rootless cosmopolitans, because they kept to themselves and because they penetrated everywhere. Anti-Semitism is not a belief, but a virus. The human body is an immensely sophisticated immune system which develops defenses against viruses. It is penetrated, however, because viruses mutate, and anti-Semitism mutates. Being a ger toshav, fundamentally a stranger and a resident in the lands that we've resided all throughout the world, has led to hate, envy, disgust, fear, and brutality in all different forms against the Jewish people throughout history. Interestingly, though, this is not the only time the term ger toshav is used in Jewish scholarship. There is a separate legal category in Jewish texts, also known as ger toshav. But it's not a description of the Jewish people. It's a legal category with which we treat the non-Jewish other in a model Jewish society. In fact, this was the subject of my dissertation. And I have 300 well-footnoted pages to share with you on it right now. Okay, I'll save that. But when do I have a chance to reference my own dissertation? Well, let me summarize in really broad brushstrokes that a ger toshav is the non-Jewish citizen who observes the 7 Noahide laws, which include basic moral qualities like not killing and stealing, and they are treated as brothers by their Jewish neighbors. And this gets to the heart of what I believe is not just the plight of the Jewish people, so to speak, but the place of leadership of the Jewish people as a whole, what I believe Yeshiva University specifically has in our collective fight for progress, diversity, and a mutually understanding society. The Jewish people understand deeply the societal negotiation all people have between preserving our culture while also being deeply integrated into the broader world. The description of Ger Toshav is not just for the Jewish people, but a universal model that is later used to imagine a future society of coexistence. The Jewish people lead and model for the world the balance between which our respective tribal identities and our common humanity all share with each other. And this is the backdrop of what happened in my own experiences after October 7th. Then after October 7th, I went to speak to university presidents about Hamas. University statements and programs for minority groups I saw became unmoored from a cohesive vision for mutual understanding, but recycled the tired and lazy framework of oppressed oppressor instead of a rich, more inclusive model of Ger Toshav, where all of us, in a sense, are both alien and resident in the world of ours, and we each need to learn how to both preserve our rights and culture without infringing on the other, and collectively working together to reshape the world. That we're not trying to superimpose a universal identity that blunts each of our respective particular communities and connections. Instead, we each want to use our particular identities to further mutual understanding and in service of a universal mission to bring peace and understanding to the world. In a sense, we're all Gerei Toshav. Each of us is both a resident and an alien in this world. And the model and the answer of the Jewish people towards persecution is creating a society where both are experienced, where we're at once deeply at home in society, and at the same time, each have our particular customs and communities that differentiate us, separate us, and distinguish us throughout the world. So do you want to know which universities first responded positively to my coalition to fight against anti-Semitism and condemn the terrorist actions of Hamas? The first person I spoke to was the president of an HBCU. An HBCU is a historically black college and university. And I called her after October 7th. And I said to her, "What's happening?" And she saw how sad I was. And she said to me, "Ari, the Jewish people win when Moses holds his hands up," referencing the story in the Bible where Moses held his hands up in the war against Amalek. But she said, who held Moses' hands up? It was Aaron and Hur. Let us be your Aaron and Hur, she said. You can lean on us. And that's when I noticed and I realized, we have friends. And then I called another colleague who was the president of the Christian colleges and universities. She leads over 100 college universities throughout the country. And I said to her, I have a statement we want to put out to rally the good people of what's happening. And she said to me, Ari, I will sign anything you want. You don't even have to show it to me. I'll sign it for you. So notice the first universities that joined me were the historically black college universities and the faith-based institutions. It was universities that not only understand the struggle of preserving a particular way of life in the modern world, but also see this as not just a struggle, but as a responsibility and a privilege. From that, major universities, public and private, University of Texas, University of Miami, Arizona State, the Chancellor of the State University of New York, the Chancellor of the City of the University of New York. We had over 100 presidents of universities throughout the country who signed the statement that we then advertised in a full page in the Wall Street Journal and did media. We had billions of media engagements for people to see. And what was the statement? The statement was that we stand with Israel, with the Palestinians who suffer under the cruel rule of Hamas in Gaza, and with all people of moral conscience. That we can rally together and condemn what is clearly wrong and abhorrent, which is an ideology that is embedded in their charter to eliminate Israel and to kill all of its Jewish citizens. That we can, with empathy, think of the Palestinians who suffer under Hamas's cruel rule. And we can gather together and take a stand for what is clearly right and embrace our common humanity and condemn brutality while standing firm in our own distinctive identities. And that is the ethos of the particularism of the Jewish people. It's a model for the world. We are ready as a society, the human race, to fully embrace the model of Ger Toshav. We need to relearn in this global modern world how to embrace what makes each of us different while using our particular strengths within each and every community to model understanding for the wider world. In the past, society victimized and then villainized the other. Now it's a time to protect and to project. For each community deserves safety and security. And within each community, the values that they foster should project universally throughout the world. Otherness has been weaponized to further anti-Semitism. Now it's time to flip the script. The Jewish people as a model for universal understanding and coexistence. And I stand here at this very important conference, at this very important time. It's a very important time in Germany, in Europe, and throughout the world to present to you something that's not spoken enough about. And that is, for sure, anti-Semitism is real. And it's frightening. And it needs to be identified, understood, and combated wherever it shows. And it is essential. That is essential work. But it cannot stop there. Rather, for us as Jews, we will not, God forbid, hide our distinctiveness. But we will use it to find the angels and the partners who will join us in building a better world through embracing both distinction and our common humanity. After October 7th, we have seen the worst in humanity. But I am here to share with you that I've also seen the best. And we can build on that towards a better future for all. I'm going to pause and open up a few questions for a conversation.